So, hello, Kyla. Thank you so much for joining me on the podcast. If you'd introduce yourself to everyone.
Yeah, so my name's Kyla. I'm actually Canadian, but I live in Australia. I've been here
Amazing.
just over 7 years. So my partner's Australian.
Oh,
We
wow.
met in Canada. He was there on a skiing holiday, obviously. So so I've been
Wow. So you
here
decided
7
to
years
go
now.
to the warm. You went to the warm way. The
Yes,
warm,
into the heat.
into the heat, yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Wow. So how are you finding Australia life? Are you enjoying it?
Um, yeah, I like it. I do. I miss the family. Obviously, they're all back home.
Yeah.
I miss the snow.
Yeah.
It's been a while, but it's
Wow.
nice here. We have the beaches, so that's a positive.
Yeah. Do you visit? Do you go back home much?
Yeah, I try to. I moved here just before COVID though, so there was a few years there where I couldn't go back home.
Yeah. They were really
But
strict in Australia as well, weren't they? I remember my
yes, you couldn't
friend.
even leave Queensland. Yeah.
Yeah, they like shut
Very
all the
limited.
borders, didn't they? I remember.
Yeah.
Wow. Oh,
Yeah.
nice. Oh, lovely. So you are here to share your birth story, and it, from what I kind of know very vaguely of it, sounds really nice and positive. First time baby. We've had
Yeah.
what's so
Time.
nice is recently on the podcast, I've had quite a few first time births, like really nice,
Yes.
positive, straightforward, which is really nice because I think obviously all birth stories, are lovely, but I think if you're first time, you really want to listen to those the first time
Yeah.
ones.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. I've listened to your podcast still, and I've heard a few of those first time ones, and they're good.
yeah, it's so nice. It's really lovely, and it's just really refreshing to hear the positive first time stories because it can
Mhm.
go really well first time.
Yes. Yes.
So
You can still go good the
yeah.
first time. Yeah.
It can
Exactly.
definitely. So it's really nice. So what was it that when you first got pregnant, like what was it that got you into hypnobirthing? Had you heard of it before you got pregnant? Kind of where did
Mm.
that come from?
Yeah, I hadn't heard of it beforehand. I didn't really know much about pregnancy and birth at all, really. But
Mhm.
I remember when I got pregnant, my mom sent me what to expect when you're expecting
Yeah.
book. And I was reading through it, and I remember reading hypnobirthing in there, but thinking, this sounds weird. What is this? I don't really know.
Yeah.
And then the midwives had told me to listen to Australian birth stories, and on there I kept hearing people who had done hypnobirthing,
Yeah.
and they had really good births. So I was like, all right, I should look this up. So I just went on Spotify, looked up hypnobirthing, and I found your podcast, and that's really what got me into it. Started listening to that and hearing about it.
Oh,
Yeah, but the name definitely
I
threw me off a bit.
know.
But it's
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 such a
really good.
shame, isn't it? Because the name just
Yes.
doesn't do it any justice. It just isn't what it is. I don't know. It doesn't. It just doesn't describe in
No, it
full
doesn't describe.
what it is.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah. So
yeah.
were you pretty hooked straight away with all the concepts and theories and things like that?
Yes, definitely. I'm more of like a sciencey person. I'm a data analyst, so I
Oh,
work with
right.
like logic computers. So
Yeah.
getting into that it all makes sense. Like what's your body doing, the science behind it, and the hormones and everything. That's really interesting, and
Yeah.
yeah, I like learning about that stuff. Yeah,
It is just very logical, like you said, like you're
yeah,
into the logical stuff, and which a lot of us are, most of us are, right? And it is
yeah,
very
yeah,
logical. It just makes
yeah.
sense. But yeah,
Exactly.
it's just the name is bit woo woo, bit
Yeah,
wishy washy, isn't it?
exactly. Yes.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So tell us kind of how your birth went. Like, what were your plans for your birth, and how did it go?
Yeah. So when I first got pregnant, I was kind of just one of those people. I was like, oh, I'm not gonna plan for it. I'm not gonna think about it. You can't make a plan for birth. It's just gonna go however it goes. And
Yeah.
then, I, yeah, one of the midwives told me to listen to that, and I got into hypnobirthing. I started listening to that, and I was like, yeah, this makes sense. Like maybe not an exact plan, but preferences you can have, and I should learn about it. So that's kind of what got me into thinking about it more. But when I first got pregnant, there was a few, not really issues, but a few things. I
Okay.
had a short cervix, so at the 20-week scan, they noticed that I had
Yeah.
a really short cervix. So they put me on the progesterone pills, those capsules. So I had to do a lot of scans for that, but it
Right.
stopped shortening, so that was really good. I didn't need to get
Good.
the Clarac, I think it's called, which
Yeah.
I was really
Like
afraid of. So I
the
didn't really want
is
to do
that the
that.
stitch? Is that the stitch
Yeah,
that they put
they
in?
can stitch it closed if the pills don't
Mm.
work. So
Yeah.
luckily that worked. And then once I was about 24 weeks, I started getting my appointments at the hospital. So I got into the midwife program at the hospital here,
Right.
which is really good, which is what I wanted to get into because I don't have family here in Australia. So I just thought I would feel better with midwives rather than just going to a GP.
Yeah.
And that was really good. But they started doing those fundal height measurements. So from the top of the baby to your pelvic bone, I think. And they just kept saying it's really small, it's really small. So I had to get so many scans done
Oh no.
repeatedly. I was not worried. I was like, he's moved. I could feel him moving lots. Like,
Yeah.
I felt like he was fine, but first time baby, I was all right. Let's
Yeah.
keep doing these scans. And every
What were
time
the
he was,
scans showing? God.
they were showing that he was growing, but I think it was like 20th percentile,
It
so
was
he
just
was
little,
small.
yeah. Yeah.
Little, which I was like,
But
I'm small.
tracking, right? So like following the line
Yeah,
that
yeah.
they
Each
showed.
each scan they did, he was getting bigger, so
Yeah. Yeah.
he was growing. I wasn't
And
too
some
worried,
babies
but
are just small. I mean, 20% on the centile chart, like they can go down to what, 1% because that's why they've got a chart, right? So 20%
yeah,
is actually
yeah.
completely
And it
normal.
seems weird to think that everyone should have, the exact
I
same fundal height
know.
all the time. Like, it's going to be
And
different for
babies,
everyone.
it will depend on obviously the length of your torso, the position the
Yeah,
baby's in. That can have
yeah,
a
and
make a massive difference. How much
exactly.
water you've got.
Yes, and his head was really low for like a month. His head was really low in there as well, which is why I think the fundal height was a bit smaller.
I see, yeah.
So he was really really low down there, and I just kept thinking I'm gonna have an early like I'm gonna give birth early because he's really low. My cervix was
Right.
short, and so I kind of
Yeah.
already thought it might happen soon. I work from home, which is really nice. So I didn't book maternity leave until the day of my due date. I was just like, I just want as much leave with my baby as possible.
Yeah.
And so I was actually on a work meeting and my water broke.
Oh my God, on a work
So luckily
meeting.
just at my house, but on a Teams call. And I just remember thinking, I think I've just peed myself. I'm not sure, not sure what's happening. And it
Oh
was
my
just a little bit.
God.
It wasn't like a gush of
Yeah.
water.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I got off the call and I went to the bathroom and I was like, maybe I peed myself. I do have to pee. So I went pee, put on new underwear, and then I was like, no, no, it's still coming. I'm not peeing myself. This is my water
Oh
breaking.
my God, how funny.
And it was a Friday, but I wasn't getting any contractions or anything like that. So I just called
Mhm.
my partner Liam and I was like, I think my waters have broken, but
Yeah.
no rush. I'm not feeling anything. Don't worry about it. I think that was 3:30 on Friday.
Yeah.
And he's like, do you need me to come? And I was like, no, honestly, it's fine. So we just hung out at the house and he was like, we should go to the hospital. I didn't really want to go to the hospital because I know if your waters are broken early, then they try to do maybe
Yeah.
induce you.
Mm.
So I called my friend who's already has two boys just to ask her about it. She's like, you should definitely just go in to get checked. I was like,
Yeah.
okay, we'll go to the hospital. And so at like 10 p.m. that night, we decided to finally go to the hospital.
Oh wow,
I
you
was
left it a while.
contractions were gonna come. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we waited a while and we went there and they send you to ORC, which is the obstetric review center. And then they put those bands around you. So they put the band
Yeah.
around to monitor my heartbeat and the baby's heartbeat. I think I was there for about they monitor it for about 20 minutes and they're just saying, yeah, baby's heartbeat looks good. You're not no distress or anything.
Good.
And then
Good.
they do a speculum test.
Yeah.
And inside I was like, maybe I'm already dilating. Maybe I just can't feel it or something.
I think
But
you always think that first time you're always like really hopeful that maybe I'm just 10 centimeters. I
yeah, like
just
maybe I just can't feel it.
relax.
Maybe that's what's
Yeah.
happening.
I'm one of those
Um,
people who just doesn't feel
yeah,
it.
I was not. The midwife was really nice and she kept saying to me, you have 48 hours. She kept saying, that's all right. You have 48 hours until naturally. Otherwise, we'll induce you at 48 hours. So I was like, okay. So in my mind, I was like, all right, 48 hours. I can do this.
Yeah.
And then she left the room and she came back in and she was like, sorry, you actually have 24 hours until we
Oh.
would like to induce you. So she was like, let's book you in for 24 hours and then we'll book you in for an inducement. And I had really got,
Why did it change? Why did it
I
change?
think she was new there.
Oh,
She
okay, fine.
well, I think she thought
She
it was
just got it
48 hours
wrong.
by accident. Yeah, because I thought it had been
Okay.
24 hours as well. So when she kept saying 48, I was a bit surprised by that.
You were like, shh, don't tell her.
But then I was so in my head with 48 hours, so I was like, I'm gonna decline that. I
Yeah.
don't want it. I don't want to
Great.
do it at 24 hours. I really want to do it
Yeah.
myself.
Yeah.
So she's like, okay. So she left, and then she came back and she's like, okay, the doctor wants to speak to you because you're declining medical advice, so you need to come in to the doctor. And I was like, oh my goodness.
Oh
So
no.
in walks this like 30-year-old male doctor, and he's I think him and the midwife has been fighting because he's like, "Can I ask you what the midwife told you?" And I was just like, "Oh, she just told me my options and just about I have to get induced 24 hours, but I don't want to. I'm gonna turn that down." I was like, "I'll come back in 48 hours if I haven't gone into it naturally." He was just like, "Oh, well, it's the exact same chemical as your body releases. Like, why do you not want to get it? Can I ask why you don't want to get it?" And
I mean,
I
it
didn't
isn't. It just that isn't true.
yeah, I didn't really want to get into it, but I knew from listening to the podcast that
Yeah.
if your body's producing oxytocin, then you also be producing endorphins as well, which is a
Yeah.
massive painkiller. And if they're injecting synthetic oxytocin into you,
Yeah.
then you won't be producing endorphins or anything. So you're more
Mm.
likely to get an epidural, other things. And I was trying not to get an epidural. I
Yeah.
was happy to get laughing gas or gas and
Yeah.
air, but I just didn't
Yeah.
really want to get epidural 'cause not being able to move your legs just kind of
Yeah.
freaked me.
Yeah. Fair enough. Yeah.
But I didn't really want to speak to him, so I was like, I don't want to do it. I don't want to get this. So then we had to like sign a medical waiver saying we're going against medical advice.
Oh yeah.
And then we went home, and we went to sleep. And I was just the whole time we are going to sleep, I was like, okay, I'm gonna start getting contractions. It's gonna happen. I'm gonna do this. And that night I got a really good sleep. And
Good.
leading up to that, I had been just not able to sleep. Like my hips just kept getting sore. I just kept waking up all the time. And that night I had a really good sleep, which I
Wow.
think my body was preparing because
Yeah.
at 9:30 I felt a little bit of a contraction and I was like, ooh, maybe I felt a contraction, but then I didn't feel anything for a while, so maybe not. But then at 10 o'clock in the morning I felt another one
Oh.
and I was like, yes, now it
Oh
started
yeah.
naturally. I've done this. And that was exactly 39 weeks to the day. So it was a week early to the due date.
Wow. Wow.
Um, and that was on the Saturday. So my contractions started and I was like, okay, awesome. I don't need to go in for an inducement because I really didn't wanted to avoid that as much as possible.
Yeah.
So then I woke up my partner Liam and I was like, okay, my contractions have started. We're on. We're doing this. So he went out and bought me breakfast and just came back and I just had the lights off in the room because I just wanted to stay in a dimly lit room and
Yeah.
just stay in my comfort zone. And he brought me breakfast. I had that. Couldn't keep anything down though. Like I was just
Oh really?
had
Can't back
to
up.
yeah. And I was also just like I thought I'd want him around or people around me, but I was just like I just wanted to be by myself. I don't want anyone near me. I don't want
Mm.
anyone touching me.
Yeah.
Um, I was
That's
just
quite
pacing.
like it's quite primal. So you just want to be like on your own, you know?
Yeah, yeah. I thought I would want to listen to like a music or a podcast, but I was like, no, I don't. I can't have like any noise around me.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
don't want anything going on. I just remembered that keeping the lights low and just staying in a safe spot. So I just stayed in the bedroom the whole time. I think Liam was out at the pub or something with some friends for a little bit of
I love it.
but I had done a lot of studying and listening to podcasts, so I was just doing my breathing. Normally, when I'm in pain, like I'm very quiet. I'm not really loud, so I was making like no noise, and I was just sitting there,
Yeah.
like the 4 breaths in, the 6 breaths out,
Yeah.
and just doing the breathing and just walking around, pacing, and they weren't too bad. Um, and I just remember thinking I need to stay hydrated because I haven't been drinking a lot. So I knew I had watermelon in the fridge, so I ate a
Oh,
bunch of watermelon.
nice. Nice.
Instantly, you started throwing it all up though.
Oh no.
I didn't
Even
even make it
watermelon.
to the toilet. I threw it all up in the sink, didn't make it to the toilet.
Oh, bless
I just
you.
was calling Liam and I was like, Liam, can you come clean up my throw up? And he's really bad with that stuff. He was just gagging the whole time. He's like, which was making me laugh.
Unlucky, unlucky, Liam. Sorry
And
about that.
I was like, you're gonna see worse than this soon.
Yeah, yeah,
But
yeah,
it was making me
exactly.
laugh so hard, and I just remember thinking, like, stop making me laugh. It hurts my contractions. And then I was handling them pretty well, but we had rented a TENS machine, so I was like, okay, I think we should put the TENS machine on now. Um, I knew that I couldn't go in the bathtub because my waters had broken,
Mm.
so you can't take a bath because that could introduce bacteria. So I was just put on the TENS machine, but it was helping me to concentrate on other stuff, but I feel like it was just all front labor. Like, I don't think I really had
Hmm.
much back labor. It was all like in the belly.
Yeah.
So I don't know if it was helping too much with labor pains, but
Okay.
it gives you something to like kind of think about
Yeah,
instead.
exactly. Yeah. It's a distraction.
Yeah. And I thought maybe I should try laying down. So I tried laying down in the bed, but that made it so much worse. I could not lay
Yeah.
down. Oh, they
Yeah.
were really painful. So I just kept pacing around the room. I was walking around. I was just pacing my tiny bedroom like for hours and hours.
Oh God. Yeah.
Oh goodness. And then at 5 o'clock, I was like, or at 3:30, because Liam was getting anxious, which I knew he would be, and he's like, "We should go to the hospital. We should go." And I
Yeah.
was like, "No, like I want to go as late as possible because I know
Yeah.
it can slow your labor down." So I was like, "Let's call them and talk to them." So we called the hospital, and they were just like, "Don't come in until three contractions every 10 minutes."
Okay.
Midwife on the phone was like, "Honestly, if it's your first time baby, I would even say if you're if you're getting 3 and 10, but you think it still feels fine, like just don't come until you really can't handle it or you really think you need to." And so I had her on speaker so Liam could hear that. So he was like, "Okay, we won't go in yet."
Yeah. Yeah.
So we just stayed pacing the room, and I knew like listen to things that made you happy to help the
Yeah.
oxytocin. So I was like, "Oh, maybe I'll put on some New Girl
Oh,
TV show because
nice.
that's hilarious."
Yeah.
But I couldn't watch that either. I was like, "No, I can't have it. I can't have just like nothing going on around
Yeah.
me."
It's like too stimulating almost for
Yeah,
you.
this is too
Yeah.
much. Turn that
Yeah.
off. And just kept pacing. And then at 5 o'clock, I was like, "Okay, I think we need to go to the hospital. Like it's starting to feel like I want to go in." So I called Liam in, but then of course a massive storm was hitting Brisbane.
Oh
And it was like
gosh.
hailing, and I just did not want to him to drive in the hail. So he was like, maybe try and hold it off. Um, he's like, we were checking the weather, and it says it should be like a quick storm should pass in half an hour. So I was like, all right, we can wait. So
Oh wow.
I jumped in the shower because I know hot water can kind of help. So I jumped in the shower as he was packing up the car to go, and he was like, as soon as the storm passes, we'll leave. So I took the TENS machine off, TENS machine. I was in the shower. It did help feel better, the hot water in your back.
Yeah.
And then at like 5:30 he came back and he's like, "Okay, the storm's passed, like let's go, the car's
Let's
ready, okay,
go.
let's go."
Are you far
So
from the hospital?
about half an hour. So
Oh,
a
okay. Yeah.
bit of a drive, but not too far away.
Yeah.
So I remember I put my clothes on, put the TENS machine back on, jumped in the car. And I was in the front seat of the car, and I was just sitting there. And like 10 minutes into drive, I was like, "No, no, like you need to pull over. I can't be in the front seat. Like I need to get into the
Oh,
back of the car so
yeah.
I can stretch out."
Yeah.
So I pulled over. It was raining. I jumped in the back of the car. I really wanted to take my seatbelt off, but he would not let me. I felt like I
Safety
needed to
first.
be
Safety first.
sitting down was just really, really painful to sit down.
Yeah.
And I just remember thinking like, "Stop driving on such bumpy roads." Like, stop drive was so painful and my contractions were
You
getting
can
really hard.
feel everything. Like you can feel every bump when you're in the car
Yes.
contracting.
I was like,
Yeah.
"Drive smoother." He's like,
Yeah.
"I."
Oh, bless.
But I was really quiet like the whole time, not really making any noise. But I couldn't speak either. I was just really in my head. So I was like, "Liam, you're gonna have to do the talking for me. I can't really speak."
Yeah.
And we got to the hospital and we just parked in the emergency, which is what they tell you to do. But I remember it was the longest walk. It was just like walk a little bit, contraction hits,
Yeah.
standing there, and then like walk a little bit. And the birthing suite's on the fifth floor, and I just remember thinking, there better not be anyone else in this elevator. I can't handle it if this elevator stops at a bunch of floors.
Oh no, yeah.
Luckily, we were the only ones. Um,
Good.
I think it was just past 6 we got to the hospital, and we go up, and I couldn't speak, so Liam was. We get up there, and Liam's like, "Oh, my partner's giving birth, so we need to get to the birthing suite." And they were like, "Did you call the head?" And we're like, "No, we didn't call the head. Sorry." And they looked at my chart, and they're like, "Okay, we're gonna get a room ready for you." And then at the very last minute, they're like, "Oh, actually, we're gonna send you to obstetrics review, which is not the birthing suite, but the review center, which I'd been at last night." And I was like, "Oh
Oh
no, I
no.
don't go there. I just want to get in the birthing suite," but I could not communicate to anyone. So like,
Yeah. Why did they want to send you there?
because my waters had broken previously,
Oh.
And if you're going into the birthing suite, they want to do a cervix check first.
Right.
But they did not believe that I was in labor because I was just really quiet. And I just
Yeah. Oh,
looked
that's really,
like
yeah,
I
that's quite common.
was in labor.
So
So they
frustrating.
oh, it was so annoying, and I just remember thinking, like, I should go to the birthing center, but I just could not speak to anyone. I was
Yeah.
really inside my head. So we walked to the to the obstetric review center, and a midwife comes in and they're just like, "Hey, so since your water's broke, we can't if we do a cervix check, it'll introduce bacteria and you're not allowed to leave the hospital at that point." And they're like, "Since your birthing plan says you'd rather not do interventions, we're just gonna keep you here for a little bit." And they're like, "Honestly, you could probably go home. Like maybe you should just go home." And I just
What?
remember thinking, like what? But I couldn't speak. And they're like, "We'd like to put the bands around your belly to watch your heartbeat and the baby's heartbeat." But I said, "No, I can't do that because anything touching my belly at the point was just I couldn't
Mm.
handle anything touching my belly. It was too painful." So they're like,
Yeah.
"Okay." So they used my Doppler to
Yeah.
check the baby's heartbeat, and they're like, "He's looking good still." And they're like, "Honestly, you can probably go home, or we could send you up to the maternity ward, and you could stay in a bed there. But you really shouldn't come here until you like absolutely can't handle your contractions." And I was just thinking, like,
Oh
if
my
I'm
God.
not if I'm not in labor yet, I don't know if I can handle this. Like, if
Yeah. It's just
I'm
because you were obviously so calm and they're going off of how you look, which is so not the
no.
way to do it. Like it's yeah,
Oh,
it's very frustrating.
it
First
was
time. And
like
if you had been a second time, they'd have believed you. But it
mm,
sometimes happens
yeah,
like with first time, they're like, oh, she's not done it before. She doesn't
yeah.
understand.
Yeah, they were making me really doubt myself.
Yeah, I
Because
bet.
I
And then you
I
worry because you, like you said, you're then like, oh my gosh, like it has to get so much worse than this, you know?
yeah, and I was just standing there in this tiny, like, little review room, and because we had parked an emergency, Liam's like, "Okay, I'm gonna go move the car," but I'd said to him, like, "I don't wanna go home. I'm not going
Yeah,
back home." So he went to move the car, and I just remember standing in this room and just thinking, "Oh, they're getting really painful." And the midwife came back in and she's like, "Oh, can I put my hand on your belly? And I'll feel for the
yeah,
contractions." And I was like, "Yeah, that's good." And she's like, "Have you been getting how often are you getting them?" And I was like, "I'm getting at least 3 every 10 minutes." Like I was timesing them on the tens
yeah,
machine. She's okay, and she just put her hand on my belly, and I was just really really calm and just standing the whole time, and I was standing breathing, and she was feeling them, and I was just turning on the tens machine when they hit, and she's like, "Okay, I can see you got 4 there in the last 10 minutes, so you're definitely moving along properly." And she's like, "You're using the tens machine really good, but you're really calm, so we're just gonna keep you here and watch you in here." And I was like, "Okay." And then
oh
she
God.
left, and they started hitting like I swear they kept coming like every minute, and I just remember standing there thinking, "This is so
Oh
painful," and I
no,
threw
yeah.
up. I started throwing up in the garbage.
Oh, bless you.
And then Liam came back from finding a parking spot. I was just like grabbing his hand, and when they would hit, and he put his hands, he was trying to help me, and I was like, "No, you
Mm,
can't! Don't touch me! I can't have anyone touching
yeah.
me."
Isn't it funny? It's funny, isn't it?
Uh,
How you react. Like you just never know how you're going to react.
yeah. And I was just really quiet, and Liam's like, "Kyla, you're not showing enough emotion." He's like, "They don't believe you. You need to show more emotion so they let you into, into the birthing suite."
Start
And I was
screaming.
like, it's like you need this. And I was like, "I can't. If I like start cracking now, I won't be able to pull
Yeah,
myself back
yeah.
in. I need to stay
You
in
were
this headspace."
you were super zen, which is really important. It's really
Yeah,
good.
yeah. And they were just getting really painful, and I was like, so I was just thinking, I did not want an epidural, but if I'm really not that far along, I'm
Yeah,
gonna get an epidural because I can't do this. I can't do this.
yeah,
And I grabbed Liam and I was like, "Tell them I don't care if I'm not allowed to leave the hospital. They're doing a cervix check. Like I am not
yeah,
leaving this hospital. I'm not getting back in this car. I can't do this
yeah.
anymore." So he went out to tell the midwives, and they're like, "Are you sure? Because you can't leave if you do this." And he's like, "No, she doesn't want to leave anyway. So let's do the check." So then they come back in, and they're like, "Oh, actually, we can do a speculum test, which is what you would have gotten when you were here when your waters broke." which doesn't introduce bacteria. And then if you're not far enough along, we can send you home with a speculum test instead of a cervix check. And I was like, why did you
Why
not say
didn't they
this to
say
me
that?
before?
Yeah.
I've been in this room for almost 2 hours at that point,
Oh,
just staying in this
yeah.
tiny room.
Yeah.
I was like, all right, let's just do it. So I had to get on the table. So the contractions were just every minute I was getting them, and they were really painful. So then in between contractions, I jumped on the table, and I got the speculum ready, and I just remember them saying they put it in. They were like, "Oh my god, I can see it! Like I can see hair. I can see a
Oh
head."
my
I was
gosh.
like, "What?" And they're like, "Do you consent to a cervix check? Can we do it? Just check your cervix." And I was like, "Yes, just do it, do it." So she did the cervix check, and I was getting contraction. I was like, "Ow, this hurts." And she was like, "Oh my gosh, I think you're 10 centimeters." And she's like, "Oh, I can just feel like just barely lip of your cervix left." She's like, "You're like 9.5 centimeters. We need to get you to birthing suite right now." And I was like,
Hello.
"I knew it. I knew it."
I knew it. We should always listen to the woman. Let's always listen to the
I'm
woman.
mistake. It did make me feel good though, because I was thinking like I'm gonna have
Yeah.
the epidural, but when they told me you're just about 10 centimeters, I was like,
Yeah.
oh, okay, I can do this then.
Amazing.
I,
Yeah, you've done all of that. That's
um,
amazing.
but I got off the table and they were like, wow, I almost feel bad for trying to send you home. I'm so sorry. I was like, you should feel bad. I was
You should
telling
feel
you.
very bad.
And they were like, you just know your body so well. You're so in tune with your body. You're doing so good. And they were walking me over and they're like, if you feel like you need to push in the hallway, do not push. Don't push until you get to the birthing suite. And I was like,
Oh
oh
my
my
God.
God. Finally they get me into the birthing suite. And the midwives there were really, really good. And they were like, okay, since your waters have broken over 24 hours now, because I think it was maybe 9 at that point or 8:30, we recommend antibiotics in your arm. And I was like, oh, okay. I didn't really want to have an IV hooked up to me, but by that point I was like, I'm sure. And I guess I looked a bit hesitant because the midwives were like, it's up to you. You can totally decline it. It needs to be in your arm for 3 hours for it to even work. And they're like, you might give birth before 3 hours at this
Oh my
point.
God. Yeah. Like the
So I was
chances of you giving birth before that.
like, oh, okay, I decline it. I decline it. I don't want to get the
Yeah.
antibiotics. Happy that they told me that.
Yeah.
And then I was like, I want to do a water birth, but there was no midwives on the floor who were trained in water births at that point. And I was like,
Oh,
there's no one on shift who can do it. So I was like, oh, that's a bit disappointing. But
I've never heard that before.
yeah, so I
Really?
guess
There was
they
no
need
one.
special training in Brisbane.
Oh.
And they were like, there's only 2 midwives and during these hours and they're both busy. I was like, oh no.
Oh, that's a shame.
So I was like, I'll just get in the shower. And I had thought of that I was gonna be really shy. So I'd packed a bunch of I packed a bikini and these things. We didn't have our birthing bags with us. They were still in the car because
Oh,
they kept
stop.
telling us that we were gonna have to go home, so Liam didn't bring bring them up.
Oh no, so you didn't have your stuff with you.
We didn't have anything with us, but I was like, I don't even care. So just, strip
Yeah.
naked, got into the shower.
A lot of people don't care when it comes to it.
Yeah. But it was really nice. They actually had like fairy lights in the
Oh,
bathroom.
nice.
And
Yeah.
they turned on all the lights for us and they put on some like chill chill vibe pop
No.
music and they stayed out of the bathroom. So they let us close the door. They kept it open a crack so they could watch. And I was in the shower and there's 2 shower heads. So I had a shower head on me and then Liam was just showering the back of me.
Oh,
And I was
nice.
standing in there for a little bit and the midwives were just like, okay, just whenever you feel like you need to push, when you have the feeling, just go with it. So okay, and I was just standing in the shower, but the contractions had started to slow down a bit. When I was standing in this obstetric review, I was going through transition.
Yeah.
That's when
Yeah.
I was like, I can't do this anymore. I can't do this.
Yeah. Sounds like it.
And I had actually wanted to do laughing gas, but I had just completely I they didn't have any
Just
pen meds when I was in obstetric review, and then by that point I just forgotten about
you
everything. I
just
was
forgot.
totally out of
Yeah.
it.
Yeah. You didn't
So I was
need
just
it.
standing there. Yeah,
You didn't need it, did you?
guess not. Yeah. So I was just standing in the shower, and the midwives were like, "Wow, you're doing amazing! Like you're so calm." Because I was just doing my breathing,
Wow.
standing there for a while, and the contractions were starting to slow down. And they were like, "Oh, do you feel the urge to push yet?" And I was like, "Oh, I don't think so, not yet." And I'm just staying in the shower for a while, and then it kind of started to feel like the contractions that you need to push in, the
Yeah.
number ones. And I just remember thinking, our bodies have the ejection
The
reflex.
ejection reflex. Yeah.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
I had planned to, I didn't really want to push. I kind of just wanted to go
Yeah.
with my body. But then the midwives came in. They're like, "Well, we're just gonna see what's going on," and they put like a mirror on the floor so they could see up. And I kind of got a little bit too excited, and I was like, "Oh, can you see ahead? Like, can you see anything yet?" And they're like, "Not really, not yet." And I was like, they're like, "Just pushing you to," and I was like, "Okay." And I think I'd been in the shower for about an hour at that point. And then I
Yeah.
was like, "Okay, I'm gonna start pushing because now I'm excited and I
Yeah.
want to see, want the baby to come out."
Yeah.
And I was, so when they were hitting, I was trying to push with it, but it felt so much more painful to push with the contractions. I
Yeah.
don't know. I was pushing, but then I couldn't push for the whole contraction, and so then I had to stop and breathe, and it was like, ouch.
It's quite
Um,
difficult actually, that push. If you are pushing, it's quite difficult to get the
yeah,
push right, like, yeah, it is quite
yeah,
tricky.
yeah. And so I was just in the shower, and and they weren't coming that often. They're like and by that point, the midwives were in the shower with us then because I think they thought it was gonna happen soon.
Yeah.
And I was just holding onto like the bars in the shower, and I'd been standing up for so long, but my legs were like shaking, and I was like,
Yeah.
I don't know how much longer I can stand up.
Yeah.
And he was like, I guess what they call him show, and his head was kind of like coming out a little bit, but
And
then
then
going
going back.
back
Yeah.
in and coming out and going back in. And I just remember was trying to push, and but I just felt like something's not right. I don't know. I felt like he's not going to come out,
Yeah.
and I need to change positions, but I could not communicate. I was like just trapped in my mind
Right.
at that point. Couldn't communicate to anyone, couldn't talk to anyone. I
Yeah.
was just standing in there, and I couldn't really move. I was just standing in there, like trying to push with it, and it wasn't happening. And there was this button on the wall, and the midwives are like, "Okay, we're gonna press this button because we think the baby's gonna come soon, and so this is to get extra midwives
Yeah.
and get help out."
Yeah.
I was just dead silent. I wasn't speaking to anyone. I wasn't like making any noise. So they pressed the button, and they had before that they had said, "Do you want us to help hold your perineum so that you don't tear?"
Yeah.
And I was like, "Yes, please." I really did not want to tear.
Yeah.
I've never had stitches before, and I was weirdly scared of that.
Yeah. I mean, that's fair enough.
Yeah. I was like, "Yes, please help me." So they had some like towels there, and they were kind of help holding it in.
Yeah.
And they pressed the button, and then in comes this older midwife. So they were both the girls in the room with us. There's two midwives, and they seemed really young, and they were kind of just like,
Hmm.
"Oh, you can try this, you can try that." But they seemed a bit unsure of it. And when they press the button, this older midwife comes in. I think her name was Marianne, and she was amazing. She just came into the room, and she just took control of the entire
Yeah.
situation. She came in, she's like, "All right, what's going on here? What's happening?" And they're like, "Oh, she's she's having the contraction to push, but the head's not fully coming out." And she's like, "All right, let me see." And she's like, "Okay, these towels aren't hot enough. Someone get me boiling hot water. These need to be really hot. We need hotter water." She's like, "Hold it like this." And she's like, "All right, Kyla, I'm gonna get a stool, and I want you to put your right leg up on the stool." And I was like, "Yes, I
Love
feel like
it.
I need to move my leg, but I couldn't
Yeah.
communicate to anyone." So we did that, and I was pushing these like coming up further, but still not
Yeah.
coming out. And she was like, "Okay, I want you to go down on that knee. I want you to put the left leg out." And I was like, everything she was saying was like, I felt like I needed this, but I couldn't
Yeah.
say it to anyone. I was like, she's reading my mind.
Yeah. She just kind of knew that you needed, maybe she was trying to open your pelvis up basically by moving your
Yeah,
legs. Yeah. To make space.
yeah, yeah. It was good. It was good. And so then I was trying that out, but he still wasn't fully coming out. I was still in the shower at this point,
Yeah.
and I had been thinking earlier. I feel like I need to lay. I feel like I need to lay down on my
Yeah.
side.
Yeah.
And I remember seeing as well that if you're laying on your side, you're less likely to tear.
Yeah.
Well, I feel like I need to lay on my side. And then they were checking with the Doppler, checking his heartbeat as well. But he just wasn't coming out. So the Marianne's like, "All right, we need to get you to bed, Kyla. You need to get down the bed." But that by that point, I was like, I think I need to lay down too. I thought I wanted to give
Yeah.
birth standing up or on my on
Yeah.
all fours. I was like, I think I do need to lay down on the bed.
But that isn't that really interesting because you were having those thoughts before that you
Yes.
were feeling like you needed to be on your side. And there's probably something in you that's like, no, but no, I don't want to be lying down. I want,
Yeah.
and I had the really similar second time. Like I really wanted to lie down, but I fought it for so long because I didn't want to lie down because, that's not the best
Yeah.
position. And as soon
Yeah.
as I gave into it and like I laid down, she came out. But
Yeah.
it's like
Yeah.
you sometimes if something's in you is telling you that's where
Yeah.
you need to go, like that is good to listen to.
Yeah. Yeah. I should, because I don't know. I think maybe because my waters had broken before, because I think he was in like just maybe slightly the wrong position, because
Yeah.
his back wasn't to me, but his back was to the side,
Yeah.
not back out to my belly.
Yeah.
And because the waters broke, I think he just wasn't moving in the right position. So we were trying different things, and he just wasn't fully coming out. And I was trying to push with it, but yeah, Marion's like, okay, we need to get you to bed, and I was like, yeah, I let's do it. I agree.
Yeah.
But she was good because she was just keeping everything lighthearted, so that I wasn't getting
Good.
scared of anything. So I
Yeah.
I stood up, and then she's like, "All right, Dad, like get in here, like, help her to the bed." And they were like kind of holding the baby's head, because he was a little bit out by that point, but he wasn't just fully coming out. And they're like
Yeah.
holding
Yeah.
the baby, and I just remember waddling to the bed, getting in the bed sideways, and they're like, "Hey, when you feel the urge to push, just push." But where like my contractions just, I don't know, they had just stopped. I don't know if it was my body waiting for
Yeah.
the baby to move, or because there's so many people in that
Too
room
much
by the
going on.
point.
Yeah. Yeah.
I just was getting a bit worried, and they put a heart monitor on my finger,
Yeah.
and Marianne's like, "Oh, is that the mom's heartbeat?" Because my heartbeat was going really fast. And I guess she had thought, oh, maybe we weren't reading the heartbeat of the baby, we were reading the mom's heartbeat. Because she was like, oh
Oh.
no, that's the mom's heartbeat. I thought it was the baby. And they're like, hey, we need to put this I don't know what it's called, but the
Oh yeah, the
screw,
the clip thing, yeah.
yeah, in the baby's
Yeah.
head. They're like, we need to know it. We need to check his
Yeah.
heart rate. Do you agree or to that,
Yeah.
putting the screw in his head? And I remember reading about it beforehand and thinking like, ooh, I don't know about doing that. That doesn't sound
Yeah.
good. But at that
Yeah.
point, I was getting a bit worried as well. So I was like, yep, I agree. And I trusted Marianne, so I was like, yeah, do
Yeah.
it. So they put that clip in the head, and they're like, okay, he's not in distress yet, but you need to get this baby out, Kyla. And I just remember thinking, like, my contractions have stopped. I'm not getting any contractions. I don't know.
Oh gosh, yeah.
And Liam had come up, and he was facing me. And by that point, I was just, the whole labor, I was just, feel like I was by myself, like,
Yeah.
calm. And that's the one time I needed I needed Liam. It's just,
Yeah.
so it was good. He was there, and I just grabbed his hand. He's like, you could do this, Kyla. And I was like, okay.
Yeah.
And so I was like, I'm not getting any contractions, so I'm just gonna have to just push by myself.
Yeah.
So I was like, okay, I'll just try pushing by myself. So I was taking a deep breath and doing like the down breathing. I was trying to breathe out, and I was like
Yeah.
breathing out and just pushing myself. And Marianne's like, okay, that's great, but she's like, I don't want you to breathe out. I want you to take another deep breath and hold your breath in and push with
Yeah.
all your might. She's like, you have to get him out in this push, Kyla. You need to get him out there right away. So I was getting worried because she's like, you have to do it in this next push.
Yeah, of course, yeah.
So I was like, okay, I have to do it. So I just took a deep breath, and I know, like from studying hypnobirthing, I was like, I don't want to hold my breath while pushing, because
Yeah.
you're more likely to tear, and it helps your pelvis, I think, if you're breathing out. But at this point, I was
Yeah.
like, okay, I try. I'm gonna
Yeah.
do whatever you
Yeah.
say.
You just get to that point, I think, sometimes where you're like, I just
Yeah,
need the baby out.
and I had thought when I was laying down, they showed me with a mirror view,
Yeah.
because I had said I wanted to see it, and I saw it, and I was like, oh my god, I wish I hadn't seen that.
It does, it's weird when you can sort of see a bit of their head.
Yeah, I can see your head, and I was just like stretched around, and I was like, I'm
Yeah.
tearing open. I think I'm tearing wide open. And I just remember laying there and thinking, I just wanted an episiotomy. Like, he's not coming
Yeah.
out. My contractions have stopped. Like, I was freaking out at this point. I was like, just cut him out. Just cut it. Just give me an episiotomy so
Yeah.
he comes out. But Marianne's like, you can do this. Give me one more push. And I was like, okay. And so I just took a deep breath and like pushed as hard as I possibly could. And I didn't really actually feel it, but everyone's like, oh yeah, you got the head came out.
Oh,
I was like,
yay.
amazing. And then they're like, okay, that's great. Like, And then they were like, do you want to pull him out? And I was like, yeah. So they grabbed my hand, or actually no, before that, when his head first came out, Marianne's like, all right, Dad, let's get some photos of this. Let's get some pictures.
That's
And she was
always the
really
bit
good.
when I'm at a birth. I always take pictures of that bit.
Yes, I was actually really happy they did
I
that.
feel like it's one of those things that you're like, oh, I don't really want to see that. But one day, I always
Yeah.
think one day, even if it's like a year away or a couple of years, you'll be grateful that you have those images. I totally get at first it's probably not what you want to look at, but it's just good to
Yeah,
have them.
it's good. And she was just really good because we'd been a little bit worried. Well, I was a little bit worried at that point. And then when the head finally came out, she's like, let's get some photos and stuff. Like, he was just keeping everything
Yeah.
in a good mood. And I was like, okay, everything's good now. His head's out. And
Yeah.
Liam was like taking photos. And she's like, no, zoom in more. Like, get in there closer. And I was laughing and he was laughing. Got some photos. And then they're like, okay, they're like, just another push. And they're like, you can pull him out the rest of the way. And I was like, yeah, I'd love that. So they, I was still on my side,
Yeah.
and I was like holding one leg up by myself, and they had grabbed my hands and they hooked my hands like under his arms, and then
Yeah.
helped me like pull him out the rest of the way, and then onto my
Oh,
chest.
that's so
Which was really
nice.
cool. So like I got to catch him, which was
What
nice.
did that feel like? Was that crazy?
It was good because Liam had said, "Oh, if I can, maybe I want to catch him," but he's quite
Yeah.
like queasy, and I think he had
Yeah.
been queasy at that point. And
Yeah.
they had just said like, "Mom, do you want to catch him?" And I was like, "I never even thought that I could do that." Yeah,
Yeah, if you can, it's amazing to
yeah,
do that.
yeah. It was
Wow.
really good. That was really special. And then as soon as I picked him up, put him on my chest, as soon as I did that, he pooped on me.
Oh, right, yeah. Hello, hi, mum.
But it was good. He didn't poop before that, so
Yeah,
that's good.
yeah, he was just holding it
um,
in for when he came out.
so that was really special. But then after that, actually, I had said that I wanted to give birth to the placenta naturally as well.
Yeah.
So they're like, okay, we'll give it a little bit, see if you give birth. But then I guess I just kept bleeding. I
Oh,
didn't feel
okay,
anything.
yeah.
I wasn't feeling anything at that point anymore. I was holding my
Yeah.
baby, and they were like, "Oh, you're bleeding a lot. The bleeding's not stopping. We need to get this placenta out of you." And they're like, "It's right there. Like, can you push and get it out?" And I was trying
Yeah.
to push, but it wasn't coming out. And they're like, "Let's give you the oxytocin shot in the leg,
Yeah.
to get it out." And I was like, "Okay, yeah, that's fine. Like, I consent. Let's do that." And so they gave me that shot, and then the placenta came out, but I was still bleeding a little bit. So then they're like, "We need to get a doctor in here. You've lost." I think it was like altogether it was 980 liters, so just
Okay.
or milliliters, so just under a liter of blood. And I was
Yeah.
like, so then I was starting to get worried. I was like, "Oh no, okay." They
Yeah.
called the doctor in, and it's the same young guy from the night before.
What was it?
Yeah, I was like, "Oh no." He walks in, he's like, "I don't know if you remember me from last night, Kyla." I was like, "I remember you."
And you didn't need that induction. There you go.
And I was like, "I feel like he thinks he's won here, but I won."
Yeah, no, no, he has not won here. You have won.
I was like, "I did this all on my own." Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
And he was just like, "Okay." He didn't do anything, but he was just like watching. He was like, "Okay, do this, do this, do this." And I had studied, or like, listening to hypnobirthing all about birth and then birth, but not actually after what happens after birth. So
Okay, yeah.
I didn't really know anything they were saying at that point. So I was getting that was probably when I was getting worried because everything, all the different interventions and stuff like that, and what your body's doing giving birth, I knew. But then after the birth, when I was having to
Yeah.
bleed, I was like, "Oh, I didn't actually study this for. I don't know what I don't know what's happening to me or what they're talking
Yeah.
about." And they're like, "If the bleeding doesn't stop, we might need to get you up to a
Oh,
theater."
bless you.
And I was like,
Yeah.
"Oh no, I don't want to." I was like, "I've done this
Yeah.
whole birth for myself. I do not want to go up to theater."
Yeah, gosh, no.
And they were like, "Were you peeing in the shower?" And I was like, "I don't know. I think so." So they were like, "We're gonna put a catheter in you because maybe if your bladder's full, it can stop your uterus from contracting." And I was like,
Okay.
"Oh no, is the catheter gonna hurt?"
Is it just one of the like in out ones where it just comes out in a bowl, like they drain in a bowl?
They
Oh, it was a permanent one, was it? Well, not permanent, but
yeah, they left it overnight.
oh,
So
okay.
they're like, we can give you laughing gas for the or gas and air for the catheter, and I've never had gas and air in my life, and I'd always wanted to try it. And I was like, oh yeah, I didn't even get to do it for the birth, so I was like, yeah, give me gas and
Yeah.
air. But they forgot to bring it, so I still didn't get to
Oh my
do it.
gosh, you were so hard done by with the gas there. Come on, people.
So they put the catheter in, and then they had to give me a few drips in my arm. I think it was electrolyte or something to replenish my fluids that I'd lost, and
Hmm.
they were monitoring me, but the my uterus started contracting. They kept, I don't know, pushing on my belly, and they're like, okay.
Yeah.
They were massaging it, and they're like, it's starting to go down. The bleeding slowed down, so I didn't end up needing a blood transfusion. I didn't need to go up to theater.
Good.
It's
Good.
good.
Yeah, but it's
Um,
scary. Yeah.
yes, and then they were like, okay, do you want to keep your placenta? And I was like, I don't want to keep it, but I want to see it. So that Marianne was
Yeah.
like showing me the placenta. They were looking at it, and they're like, okay, it's all intact, so we don't think
Great.
anything's left in there. We think, the bleeding was just because your uterus wasn't contracting, which
Yeah.
I don't know why, but I think it was because I wasn't getting contractions anymore by the end.
Could be. Yeah, it could be. They'd stopped,
I just
hadn't
pushed him
they?
out myself, and there was no contractions. So I was like, maybe that's
Yeah.
why my
Yeah.
uterus
It
wasn't
may well
contracting.
be. Yeah.
um, and then I just remember looking up at finally, and there was all these midwives in the room. There was like 10. I don't know, maybe 10, but there was a ton of midwives in the room, and I just looked up and I was like, when did all these people get in the room? Like, when did this happen? And they were all just like, oh, we just wanted to come watch because we had heard there was such a calm birth happening in here. And they were all like, you did amazing. Like, that was so
Oh,
good. It
wow.
was so wonderful. We just wanted to see it happening. And I was like,
Oh.
oh, thank you. And Marianne was just like, that was so good. Because the whole
Oh.
time I didn't make any noise. I was just like really quiet the whole time. And then after the bleeding had stopped, they did a check, and she's like, you didn't tear it all. You've had no tears. And I just remember looking at them and
Amazing.
being like, like,
Amazing.
yay, it was so good. Because at first, when they'd said you're losing a lot of blood, I was like, it's because I've torn everywhere.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I was like, oh no.
Wow. That's
But
amazing considering you were pushing all by yourself, really, as
yeah,
well.
yeah. And altogether, I think I'd been pushing for about 2 hours. So we were
Yeah.
only in the birthing suite for 3 hours. He was born at 10:49 p.m. So labor
Wow.
was just over 12 hours altogether.
That's super
Um,
fast.
yeah, but
Like first time,
apparently,
yeah. First time, it's
birthday.
very, very efficient. Yeah.
Yeah, so that's good.
Yeah,
But
definitely. When was this? When did you give birth?
it was November 15th, but it was on the Saturday. So my
Wow.
waters are broken on the Friday at 3:30 p.m. on Friday,
Mm,
and then I gave birth at 10:49 on the Saturday.
wow. So it was only back in November.
Yeah, yeah. So he's not even 3 months old yet, actually. three
Oh,
months, a
crazy.
few days.
Oh, how sweet. And you stayed in that one night and then were you home the next day?
No, so once I'd given birth, because I had lost just about a liter
Mm,
of blood, they had said, we want to keep you in for monitoring. And because I had declined the antibiotics,
hmm.
they'd said, okay, you declined the antibiotics and you gave birth just like over 24 hours since your waters broke. So they wanted us to stay for 40 hours for monitoring me for the blood
Right.
loss and then the baby just in case he got an infection.
Okay. But it was all fine.
Um, yeah, it was all good. And so I was getting a bit worried at that point. I was like, oh, I hope me declining the antibiotics hasn't given him an infection. But the midwives were actually really good. And she was like, I don't want you to worry about this at all. We don't even do I think it's called strep B test
Yeah.
at the hospital. She's like, we don't even do this test at the hospital. So even if, you had the or
Yeah.
your waters hadn't broken, like this is something that all moms have to watch out for. And she's like, just watch out
Yeah.
for the signs. She's
And
like, it
also
can even
it's sorry, go on.
Oh no, I was just gonna say she's like it can even happen like 2 weeks later, so just watch out. But she's like
Yeah.
she was really good. She's like, don't feel bad about it at all. All moms
Yeah.
have to watch for these signs.
So over here, we that wouldn't happen with the antibiotics after just 24 hours. So if your if your waters had gone and your contractions hadn't started within
Yeah,
24 hours, then they would probably be pushing for antibiotics, but obviously you still don't have to. But if your waters are gone and you still but your contractions start within 24 hours, even if you give birth past the 24-hour mark, I've not had a situation where they've pushed antibiotics. So again, it varies so much depending on where you
Yeah.
are and the protocols of your particular hospital or country or wherever you are. So just to also, obviously I know it was all fine,
Yeah.
but just for extra peace of mind that the
Yes.
fact that you gave birth just 24 hours after your waters went is really the chance of infection is just so minimal to the baby anyway. It's literally just must be their protocols and just their kind of precaution that they take at that hospital.
Yes. Yeah, and I think I had remembered reading that even after, I don't know if it's 24 or 48 hours after your waters are broken,
Mm.
the chances of having infection don't increase. They just stay the
It's
same.
tiny, yeah,
So,
it's
yeah.
tiny.
So
Yeah, it's
that was
really
so
like it's minimal, and there's a lot of sort of defensive stuff done, like just in case. But actually, the chance of
yeah.
infection is so small that yeah, it's
Yeah. Yeah. And I didn't really want to go on the antibiotic drip anyway. So
no.
yeah,
That would
it
have
was good.
really like that. What you wouldn't have been able to be in the shower. Like that would have really limited
Yes,
where
I
you were
didn't
able to be.
exactly. I just felt like I needed to be free. I didn't want anything hooked up to me
Yeah,
or be attached to this IV drip. Yeah.
yeah,
So it was glad I didn't do
it was
that.
the
But
right
I'm glad the
decision.
midwives told me to because at first I was like, oh yeah. And
Yeah,
they were like, you don't have to get it. So
good.
that was
Oh,
good.
nice. Thank you, Kyla. I love that. I love that you were so calm. And it is really frustrating that they don't believe calm first time
Yeah.
mums. I mean, it really is annoying, but like you do get people who are just very calm. Like I don't know what to say. Like I've witnessed it as well at births. Some people are just very calm and that's how they manage things. And you
Yeah.
get other people that aren't, and there's no right or wrong, but
Yeah.
it's listening to the mum is really so important. I just wish that happened more.
Yes, I was just annoyed because they even had like she had felt my belly and she was like, "You have gotten four in the last 10 minutes," but they still
Yeah.
didn't believe that I was far enough along. Like, we're just gonna keep
Yeah.
you here, and so I just remember staying in this little room, and I was like
Yeah.
getting
That's really
painful.
hard. That's hard for your like oxytocin levels as well, but obviously your body was doing really well and it wasn't affecting it. But it's for some people that might have been like enough to really slow it down.
Yeah,
So yeah, it's good that obviously that didn't happen for you. But yeah, what a lovely story. Thank you, Kyla.
it was nice, and it was really nice at the end because yeah, all the at the end, all the midwives came over and they were like shaking my hand. They were like, "You did so amazing!" Like they were like,
Oh,
"My name is this, and that was a beautiful birth. Like you were so calm, you were so good. Like we love to see it." And at the end, Marianne was like, "So did you have private courses or private studying for this?" And I was like, "No, actually, I just listened to hypnobirthing podcasts and studied up." And she was like, "That was
wow.
amazing. You've done so well." She's like, "You should be so proud of yourself for
Yeah.
it." I was like, "Thank
What
you."
um
Like that made me feel really good.
what did he weigh in the end?
He was 3.04 kilos, so he wasn't even like
I
that
wonder what
small.
that is in pounds.
I think it's
No,
six
that is
pounds
not.
11 ounces.
Oh, okay. Oh, nice. Yeah. So
So
yeah, that's about tracking with what he was.
yeah, a little bit under the average, but not even that tiny of a baby.
No, no. And he was 39 weeks, so you know,
Yes, so 1 week early to the dot. Yeah, so
yeah.
that was
Oh, perfect. Thank you
good.
so much for taking the time to come and share your story with us. It's really lovely. Like, so yeah, so inspirational for people who are going for their first birth. It can all work out as it should.
Yes, it can. Yes, no, definitely. I just listened to all the episodes in our podcast and all the positive birth stories, and they
Uh,
really helped.
oh,
So
good. I'm glad. Yeah. And it's
yeah,
nice
thanks
to
for
give
having me.
back. It's nice to come back full circle and tell your story and have people listen to that as well. So it's really lovely. And you're still listening, you said. You're still listening to the
Yes,
podcast.
yes, to listen. Yeah.
I love it. I
Now
love
I
it.
love hearing about birth now.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you like to hear the stories. I know. I totally get it. I love,
Yeah,
obviously, hearing a birth story. It's always just so because everyone is so different. So it's really lovely to
yeah.
hear the stories. But yeah, thank you so much. It was so nice to meet you and yeah, and chat to you. And thank you again for coming on and sharing your story.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Thank you, Kyla.
Thanks.